Right, hello everyone. Today we're taking over Granada in 1560. I'll be taking up the mantle of the economic burden of Granada, as it were, as I need to complete the following 3 challenges in the next 40 years before I hand it over to the final player in our EU4 succession campaign. Each player had access to 40 years of Granadan rule, and by the fact it's 1560, as you may guess, I'm taking over a bit later into the campaign, as it were. With that said, my goal is simple. I need to have, for the gold medal, 100 gold income. Okay, easier said than done. For silver, I need to spawn global trade. Alright, I can see why that's a silver medal, still not quite trivial. And for bronze, I need 10 different trade companies. That's still not trivial as well. Right, well, I'm going to be going for all 3 of those, but elaborate more once I'm in the game. Alright, here we are, and yeah. Well, let's go through the positives, and I'm going to say I've been privy to a bit of conversation from the previous players as this campaign was unfolding. And the best summary of this is that the whole thing was on fire for quite a bit. With that said, and with the context of the flames, we're in a relatively good position, dare I even say, compared to where we should have been at. And what I mean by this is we are debt-free. We have 64 income, which isn't good, but you know, I can work with that. 64 income in 1560 leaves a lot to be desired, but we're debt-free, so at least I'm not trying to pay off debt in the process. We're only a little bit above gov cap, and we've kept up mostly on Miltech. Although, this is the part where I'm also going to say, we're 3 admin techs behind. We're like an idea group, an entire idea group, plus a entire other, because admin tech 13 is ahead of time. You wouldn't normally take admin tech 14 ahead, especially this is like 10 years ahead of time, so probably wouldn't be taking it that ahead of time, but you want to, I like taking the ahead of time techs ahead of time so you can get the ideas filled out faster, so oh boy. We're behind a bit on that regard. Manpower's good. It usually isn't good, so that's good to see. And what is our expansion? It's 1560. What have we? Come on, guys. We can blow apart. It's not as bad as it looks. We do have Morocco as a vassal. The problem is we have Morocco as a vassal, and as part of our setup is that we do want to set up a bunch of trade companies to make a whole lot of money. On that note, we've got, if we check our subject tab, absolutely no trade companies, but that's okay. We can work with that. And while trade companies are a way of making free money, you know, I understand why we haven't partaken in that. It's okay. We've had a lot of flames to put out. I actually want to take this opportunity to give a massive shout out to my predecessor, as it were, because I've seen the state of the save when they took over, and I saw the state of the save that I have it now. And this is, and you won't believe me saying this, a massive improvement. So you know what? Fair enough, an excellent amount of nation fixing. And frankly, what I'm about to do is probably only going to be possible because of those save fixing. So thank you. It's appreciated. With that said, we have a navy. We have 6 light ships. Okay. Well, we have a mission for light ships, I believe. So that's no, I think it's Portuguese naval rivalry. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think at some point I'm going to regret deleting those light ships because I'm going to delete those light ships. With that said, we also probably want to start seizing land from Morocco here before we annex them, because I don't want a full core, especially North Morocco here. And I would like to set up a trade company in the Safi Charter. I don't want to get rid of my own cores, like, on these states. Like, this would be a nice state to trade company. These two would be nice states to trade company, but yeah. And that's about that. Now, I've also been given privy to the ability to restore Andalus immediately, which I will be doing. It's also going to be our capital. Now, you may be wondering how can set up trade companies if our capital is in Tunis, which, by the way, why is our capital in Tunis? I'm going to maybe stop asking questions about that. But anyway, this means that because our capital is in Tunis, we can't exactly trade company anywhere in Africa. If we look at the subcontinents, where are the subcontinents? There's subcontinents. So we cannot trade company in Africa. We can actually trade company in Levant, but the nice thing with moving our capital eventually back to Cordoba here is that it's going to, well, basically let us trade company everything that's not in Western Europe, and we're not going to be really expanding into Western Europe, so that should be fine. On that note, the gold income, there is a way to get it. It's a bit of a cheesy, but basically the only real viable way of getting it is we need exploration ideas. We need to go discover the Incas. We need to go conquer the Sierra de Potosi from the Incas. We need to take all of the debt, and we need to shove that into a level 3 monument. And then we need to make sure we only have 3 provinces that we own in the Incas, or like 4, so we never form a trade company. And that's how we get the gold income. That's a hard maybe, because even while we're doing that, we also need to set up 10 trade companies. 10 trade companies is a lot, because we only get 1 per node. So sure, there's an easy one in Tunis, there's an easy one in Alexandria, there's an easy one in Safi, easy one in like Timbuktu and so on, and we'll probably be expanding these to make money, because we need to invade into these areas just to send the money to Sevilla to try and compete for global trade. However, we probably just need to start colonizing random islands so we can trade company them. And what I've spotted is the islands here. These are ripe for colonization in a sense that they are part of the Malacca trade node. Then we can probably grab an island here. This is unexplored yet, and then, we'll have the trade company set up for that. And Malaccas is also right here, so we can set up a trade company here. Maybe even nick something from Japan, because there's a couple like random islands that there's over there we can set up for trade companies. And it'll be saying like we don't have the colonial range, but we do, because our predecessor did grab the Suez province here, so we have that. It's a bit ugly because we don't have Egypt. That's a bit annoying. But we are allied with the Ottomans. Now, unfortunately, the Ottomans at this point can't really call them into any wars, so it's a bit of a useless science if you consider this. The Ottomans are going to dishonor because they've got 5,847 ducats of debt. A bit annoying. I could take debt and pay that off for them. However, at the same time, I don't want to be responsible for the Ottomans' girl math kind of decisions when it comes to their economy, so I'm going to let that slide. Otherwise, yeah, that's about that. The main short-term goals is we need to establish a bunch of trade companies. We need to go from Andalusia here, which would be nice. And the thing is with Andalusia, it'll be very neat, is that once we do, we're going to get minus 10% idea cost in the initial reform. We're then going to be able to get Andalusian ideas, which are going to have minus 10% idea cost, I believe, relatively early on. And we're going to full send mysticism. We're going to really full commit mysticism to really get that idea cost going. And finally, just so we can actually get these ideas done, our predecessor is very close, namely, we just need to force convert another nation to go Golden Age. I've consulted if I'm allowed a Golden Age, just in case there's some kind of a ruling that we're not. I am fully allowed a Golden Age, so what we can do is we're going to go to Morocco. We're going to make them Ibadi, because we are also Ibadi as part of this process. And this means that we've now, well, on the day tick, we'll be able to press the Golden Age button. So we're just going to go for it. The Tenga's produce is going to be huge, the oil power cost is going to be huge, and let's see if we can get away with it. The fundamental reality of the situation remains, though, that, well, global trade is a pipe dream. This is 67 English Channel, there's like 50 in Genoa and 40 in Lubeck. If we don't do something to the English Channel, which is easier said than done, and they just keep colonizing, this is going to probably hit around 100. It's a bit of an uphill battle for us to go with Sevilla. The other reality of the situation is we don't want to beat up Portugal and Castile too hard here, because if we do, we're going to move their capital away from here, so we're going to make sure we kind of want to leave Portugal around in Portugal and Castile around in Castile, so they keep steering their trade into Sevilla still from their colonies. So that's going to be the plan, because while we could also kill the colonies, I just don't think we have the time in 40 years to do all that while also maintaining our economy. At the same time, in terms of our scaling, we've built around none of the manufactories, and this is all pre-trade company manufactories, so this should all really pop off for us as well. There's a dream, but I think the global trade is a bit of a pipe dream. There's also the debt maxing, build over just going well over economic budget and going into the Incas, exploring that and trying to get in there, but that's a hard maybe. If we are like super ahead of schedule, I'll go for it. Otherwise, I think that's pretty reasonable. So let's go ahead and form Al-Andalusia. Absolutely, yes, please. We've lost Icta, but that's fine. We've picked up the Al-Andalusian Sultanate, and that means that we do have the 10% idea cost here. On the day tick, we'll have the oil power cost. So for us, because we have to go exploration here, we're going to have to, well, get going on that front. Pretty decent idea, 15 morale here, which actually, ironically enough, works quite well with defensive. Defensive was the open, so I think it's definitely not great now. I'd have preferred something even like quality. But what defensive is great at is it's good at getting stack wipes against the enemy. So we can definitely do a lot of blitzkrieg kind of conflicts with defensive, because we're able to, find the enemy army, get the stack wipe, and move on with our life. We don't have much more quality beyond that, so it's okay. The fort buffs are okay as well, in the sense of our forts can spend a bit longer sieged, but I don't value it that much in single player. And I think in the open, it's very good for quick wars, defensive ideas, for the morale. And defensive ideas is also nice sometimes for policies. Otherwise, I don't think I necessarily approve of our idea choices. Religion is nice. Religious is nice, though. Free CBs is good. We get Manpower and True Faith, we get our Tolerance of True Faith, so we're going to be able to do a lot of converting here with Ibadi. And Ibadi is a good religion. So yeah, good stuff around here. No complaints on religious ideas. Defensive, I'm going to defend defensive, as I think it's a viable choice, on especially on the Andalusia Open, if you really need that extra army quality to go beat Castile early. Although I will say I'm not sure how you managed to get the capital to choose this, but either way, that's not for me to judge. Your decisions to move the capital to Tunis are a you problem. On that entire front, though, I'm going to catch you back in 1570, see if we can get away with all the things we planned. Alright, here we are in 1570. We've got the Golden Age, got Andalusia, got all those things going, as it were. We do remain a bit behind tech because we haven't got printing press, so we can grab tech here if we want, but we don't need the tech. I guess we're losing innovations, but whatever. It's 1st of January, so that's the first year tech where we're losing innovations, to be honest. With that said, we've done with the Portugal War for the most part. The issue is Great Britain did step in and is a bit annoying. I might have to go march over to Calais and siege that out. That's a bit of an issue. We can also see that Brittany has expanded into France, but France is back to fighting Britain. Brittany, what's very convenient here is, well, when we decked on Portugal and Castile, France joined the war, Great Power intervened against us, which was very nice because I just pieced them out. I just pieced out Burgundy by giving them French land. Very convenient. Thank you, France. Very much appreciated. So yeah, that's how I treat my AI allies. With that said, we've done our Castile, because we're called in Castile co-belligerent. We've taken a bunch of land from here. I think this is enough land from Castile. I want to still leave them with a decent chunk of land because Aragon's going in on them. They're going to eat a bunch of Castile here, so it's a bit awkward. We want to make sure that Castile actually, sticks around in Iberia so they can keep steering trade. We're done with Portugal. We can kind of peace out, to be honest. If we take a look, we can take Iberia and Portugal here. The issue is this is going to knock them out, and also we can't really peace out because England's in this yet, so it's a bit awkward. Colonization-wise, I think we're doing not too badly at all. We're going to get ourselves connected into this area for our expansion. We've started establishing the colonies over here. Don't need to garrison them because there's only 500 natives, so they can never burn down this colony, which is makes that one a nice one, and we're double dipping these colonies. So we've got an event to colonize this one, which is quite nice because we've got the free settlers arriving and we can afford it. Our initial 64 income has now hit 102 as we've set up a couple trade companies now. So trade company in Jerba here. It's not got that much trade power if we take a look at the Barbary, not the Barbary things. Oh, we've loaded up the save, so that's why it's all 0.1%. But basically, yeah, this is around 50% trade power just on its own because there's not that much trade power in this area. So if you take a look at something like Tunis, as you can see, because of the trade company, we're getting 15% goods produced. Oh, I do believe that's not, I haven't got the investments yet. I will get the investments soon, but we're able to get around 50% trade power in Tunis just from that. This would have been amazing to trade company as well, but it's a bit of an awkward one too, because the nice trade company areas are the ones we don't own, and I'm like, I don't want to go fight the Ottomans. It's effort, to be honest. And Alexandria would be an amazing one, double trade center, but it's also goods produced one, so you kind of want to full state that. That's one of the ones you want to have trade company bonuses on. So it is what it is. I believe we did trade company Red Seas here just to get the one trade company. So we got 4 trade companies up and running. Got Barbary Coast, Safi, that kind of stuff. All good. No worries there. We've gotten our entrance into the North Morocco state. So we've got an Iberian trade company established as well. We're keeping Morocco relatively happy, and obviously we also can't seize land while at war. We want to start seizing these provinces as well to work through it and then head up our Iberian trade company. But so far so good on the progress. We are avoiding debt, namely because we were able to punch people for money. Thank you very much, Castile, for funding the war machine. And we're probably, I mean, if we can punch GB for money here, that would be great. Oh, I don't want Calais. But yeah, 1.8k would be nice. That's like a couple manufactories for us. We've started building those as well, to be clear. Should be completed sooner rather than later. Yes, as you can see, we've started getting a couple manufactories going. And we finally managed to finish scoring Tafel out. In terms of our gold economy goals, yeah, probably not going to get there. I don't think this is going to be fast enough to go for the New World stuff, but we are getting the colonies established at least, so I think we should be able to get the 10 trade companies. Unfortunately, the 36 in Sevilla, 17 English Channel, not looking too good for the global trade spawn. That is something I have to admit. Right, I think that's enough coping though. I will see you in the next 10 years. Alright, it's 1580. We're halfway through our tenure. Unfortunately, I almost forgot to do the pause on 1580, so I did it in December. I was like, oh, I need to do it in January 1580. But I missed January 1580. I looked at that in February, so we're also an extra 11 months ahead. So that's a bit awkward. My apologies for that. We've started seizing the land from Morocco. We've started their annexation as well. Should be done well ahead of time by 1588. So we should have the Morocco economy as well to boost us. We've gotten Seville up to 53 ducats, good progress. So we've beaten Genoa now, but the English Channel is up at 80 and should be hitting around 100, so easier said than done to compete with. We've done exploration now, we're moving through administrative ideas because I mean, the reality of the situation is that we need to expand into this area, and doing this without 25% CCR is going to hurt. We do have, being Granada, some CCR in our ideas, I do believe. Yeah, here 15%, so it's not awful, but like, I want the CCR and admin ideas before we start moving down here. Also, we are starting to hit GovCap issues a bit right now. We're still fine at the moment, but once we're done with Morocco, it wouldn't be great. We managed to retain the Portuguese capital here, and Castile has managed to retain their capital in Seville as well, so that's good because take a look at incoming here. We're still getting like 15 ducats from the Caribbean. We would not, and 6 ducats from the Ivory Coast. We would not be getting that if those two capitals are not there. The air would not be steering it towards us out of the goodness of their hearts. But we've managed to steal a lot of their trade power, so Portugal's been reduced quite a bit because we snaked the 2 trade power provinces. That's nice in that regard. Same for Castile here, although we're also kind of subsidizing Aragon here. Aragon is a fightable war, but Austria is going to be a bit annoying, and also if we fight them, then Brittany comes in. It's just kind of awkward, and frankly not worth it at all. Ottomans are still in debt, but at least they're starting to scale now, so they could be a relatively useful ally, but I can't be bothered. So I think what's going to be the real situation here is we're going to try and clean up this area. If we can get it done in 10 years, which I think is very optimistic, but should be done, we'll be able to steer a lot of money from trade company in these areas, because there's a lot of good land trade company here, and there's gold here, so we can use that gold to try and go for the 100 gold. But I mean, we're 1/5 of the way there, but we've already debbed this to 10, and we've already debbed this to 10. It's going to be rather painful. I don't think 100 gold is possible unless we do get towards the Inca over there. So yeah, that part's not great. Maybe if we're done with this in 10 years, we could go for the Inca. To be honest, it's more of a case of mental focusing. But yeah, I think that's about that. Let's start focusing down on expanding to this area. We own enough of Iberia now. This is a satisfactory amount of Iberia to own. And yeah, I mean, not much more to say here. Let's get back to blobbing. For the economy check, we're at 156 now, so we've tripled our income. Most of this money is going not towards our expenditure. If you look in the saves for something like PDX tools or Scanderbeg, most of the money isn't actually going back into army maintenance or anything. We're literally below force limit, and we could be going well over force limit. Our manpower's fine, and so on and so forth. So country's fixed in that regard. The fundamental truth of the matter is that more troops won't help us, but more money to build more manufactories and more buildings will. So as you can see, we still have a lot of manufactories left to build, and a lot of good manufactories. Don't think we're going to get Amintech 16 in time. Maybe we can get Amintech 16 early, but it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's about that. So I'll see you in the next 10 years. I hope we have this sorted by now. Oh, and also trade company check. We are currently sitting on 7 trade companies, and indeed we did have to promote investments into the Barbary Coast things for our 50% here, but we were able to achieve it, so that's neat. Right, let's get moving. Oh, and finally, before we do get moving, because I did say that, I did seize Ceuta, and because we do own a scepter, we're able to pop the mission Pop of Scepter to create a level 1 center of trade on there, which is nice because it gives us 2 centers of trade inside northern Morocco, and that's good, obviously, for the trade company to get all of the trade power and give insane goods produce bonuses to things like, for example, Sevilla here. Okay, it's on Y, but if you can see, we're getting 20% goods produced from the trade company, so neat, and that's not even a level 3 yet. Good stuff. Right, let's get to 1590. I hope we've got this sorted by then. Okay, there may be a little bit of a trend of me forgetting to make the save in 1590. So it's 1591 and it's July. Oops. But yeah, we've expanded and we're not done with this area. And oh god, I hate how countries not built for expansions actually struggle with expansion. I think I just forget how much dev is in this area. Which is good for us, obviously, once we've taken that over. But yeah. 222 income, so that part is looking pretty good. Unfortunately, we are like pretty overextended at the moment, so that's hurting all our trade power everywhere else. We're struggling with GovCap, to be honest. We are nowhere near finishing admin ideas. Obviously, we just picked up the CCR and we're barely managing to core the thing. At this point, we're kind of like almost done with this area, but we need to start like accepting the fact that we're probably not, like, by the time we finish coring everything, set it up, build all the buildings, we're going to be out of time. So if we had another 10 years, probably worth to clean this up. And I think I will, just because I hate these borders. I was snaking these borders with the assumption that, you know, I can come back to these and clean them up. I'm truce juggling relatively well. For example, I'm truce with Songhai here, but as you can see, I'm not truce with Bonnerman, so I can deck Bonnerman and unco-belligerent eat the rest of Songhai because they're 28% war score, stuff like that. So I'm not going to be truce locked here, I believe. So Fulo is also, I don't think I'm truced with. I'm truced with relatively few people. I know I'm truced with Zazao here, but they've allied a lot of convenient people as well. I mean, Bonon as well. Unfortunately, they are, I think, 50-something%. No, 28%. Okay, so we can eat the rest of them. They had some pretty nicely developed land over here, but it also meant that we could concentrate a lot of that development away. Ethiopia kind of also went in here and stole a bit of Katsina node for us, but that did remind me, oh, I can just beat up Ethiopia, and once I take Wadai, that would have given me an extra trade company zone. We're done on the trade companies. In fact, I was a bit overzealous with the trade companies. I did get to Japan, and then I realized I don't need to get to Japan, so we have Guam. Andalusian Guam. We've got a whole bunch of random colonies here, like we've got some coffee being grown in Sumbawa, we've got Nias here, we've gotten the British East Indies and the Andamans, you know, the Andaman Islands, you know, all those things we've really island hopped is the best way of putting it. And I think this is what annoys me, because I believe if we take a look at where Sierra Flossie is here, it's here. This is really beatable. Like, we could just absolutely beat up Portugal here and snake it and take it. But we're already struggling with the Gulf Cap, and I think by the time we finish coring it, by the time we dump money into the thing, we're already starting to run... Well, I've taken one debt. I think I was just paying off burger loans and so on and so forth to restructure debt and so on, because I was cycling it for buildings. It's doable. It's possible, and I think that's the part that annoys me the most. But yeah, to be honest, I think that's just the part that annoys me the most. If I restarted this campaign 1560... I definitely could have gotten to Sierra Flossie at this point, and it's earlier, but the real thing is I'm really fixated now because I'm painfully close, 94 English Channel versus 82, on getting getting myself access to the actual spawning global trade. So that's the play I'm going to have to go for, I think. The reality of the situation is, as well, we take a look at something like here, we have 10 base production, right? So 10 base production giving us 10 ducats. The monument for Sierra Flossie, right, at max level is plus 3 goods produced, it's plus 15. You can probably get this all to plus 15. It's going to be 30 ducats of gold income. It's not going to be enough with our existing 20. We've grabbed Lobby as well, which is nice. I do believe that's the one of the 2 gold mines in the area over here. Yeah, we've grabbed Lobby. There's 2 more here. Sorry, there's 3. So we've grabbed Lobby here. We're getting our, we'll be getting that cord by 1593, but we're starting to be at the point where if we finish this, we're going to finish the cores by like 1594, then we're going to need admin to full state and core all this stuff, and we're definitely not full stating at the moment. We're not even half stating, to be honest. I think I might have to resort to half states, and half states are just really strong. I just really dislike resorting to them. But yeah, all of the Morocco stuff is done. This trade company is set up. So yeah, Iberia is also, I do believe, it's been boosted. It's not enough. I think it's around 45%. I'm obviously jumping between saves at the moment, but yeah, that's about that. And that does also mean that if we take a look at something like this copper here in Coela, it is 3.3 goods produced because we're getting a bit of war exhaustion. Yeah, that's the issue with fighting. But we're also getting 31% goods produced from trade company from us, which is great. Nice. Right, well, I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to get our overextension fixed. I might have to resort to trade to half states just to spawn global trade, and I will have to concede I'm just not going to bother to go for this. I should have gone for it earlier. It's almost not worth it now, and I'm actually going to go for gold faster. It's possible, but I mean, in my defense, we just barely started coring Taffin out, so I think a rip gold medal, to be honest. That's that. Very sad to say. Right, seen the last save, and here we are in the 1600s, 1st of January, and yes, indeed, we managed to get global trade. This changes everything. Thank God it was close. We've got 122 here at the end versus 108, so not the best margin I could have, but I will absolutely take it. We finished cleaning up this area. I did, and I'll have to concede, resort to some half states here, and I hate myself for it, but you know what? That's what I had to do. If I had half states earlier, man, if I just had half states earlier, but whatever. It's a matter of principle that I don't partake in half states, and I'm going to continue that matter of principle nonetheless. We've got the trade companies. We're looking at 363 income, so to go from 63, so to go from 61, I think I believe, to 363 is we literally 600%ed our income within these 40 years. So I will take that. We're absolutely raking in trade. We're absolutely raking in production. We have, I think these are burger loans. No, okay, we have 19 loans. We should be fine paying them off. But, you know, I had to build some buildings. Don't worry about it. I think the other part was always during the expansion. I believe it was... No, I didn't bother with Alhambra. But, yeah, it was painful. I needed to get those menus built for the... I needed to get these menus built, guys. Come on. No, they're not cheap. But it's not like we can't afford the debt. Actually, 1/3 of our government spending is to pay back the debt. but the debt interest at this point of 56 ducats is insanely manageable, so I'm not going to be taking any complaints from here. That was just my last-ditch effort just to get global trade here, and we got it. Trade companies are all set up. Burnt a lot of manpower fighting here, so we're a bit low on that, but you should be fine. Honestly, unironically, either slacken or hire mercs. I think this is absolutely playable in that regard. 363 income, I believe, also does put us as highest income in the lobby, and we are second great power, only second to the Ottomans by a little bit. I wasn't really aiming for this. I was just, when I was loading back to this, I was like, oh, I actually have a lot of development. How close I am to #1 great power? Pretty close, but I wasn't even aiming for this, I'll be honest. So it's actually a bit of a shame that we didn't hit there right at the end. With that said, yeah, all of this land is relatively cleaned up. I've even started getting the West African coast colonized, so I can get some of this ivory trade going into Sevilla as well. Massive shout out to the absolute enjoyers of the Caribbean of Portugal and Sevilla. That still keep pumping money into Sevilla, because that's probably the only reason we win this. In fact, if it wasn't for the Caribbean, yep, we wouldn't have won this. So leaving Portugal alive is a great investment. And Aragon, thank you very much for not fully killing Castile, because if you did, I'd have to get involved and I'd have to fight you, and that would have been annoying. So massive thank you very much for Aragon for that. As before, again, I've seen the absolute mess of what the previous campaigns were, so I will not critique our previous players. After all, critiquing Playmaker for not playing Austria is, you know, just cruel. Lord knows he only knows how to play one country. But Lucas at Bella actually fixed this to be a playable state and let me achieve at least 2 medals. So massive thank you very much for that. And also on that note, I just want to say no hate to Playmaker at all. I was just a friendly tease, for lack of a better word. So please don't think there's some kind of insane, I think Playmaker is bad at video games, drama, or anything starting here. You know, if he was, I wouldn't be doing this campaign with him. Otherwise, we have just one person remaining ahead of us who's going to have, I think, a fine enough time going for his goals, although some of them are easier said than done. The Western world is a bit Protestant Reformation-y, and, you know, they're having some fun with that. Should be fine and should be absolutely beatable. We're sitting at 134 force limit, so that's fine. We finished admin ideas, so we're still a bit struggling with GovCap, but you just unstake my half states, you'll be fine if you're really struggling with that. So yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable enough position to leave it off while claiming my 2 medals, and I'll call this a win. I am a bit sad I didn't go for the ink and gold here. In fact, if we do take a look at the trade goods on this gold here, because of this like 3 plus this one province here, there is basically a build where you take this province and these 4 provinces, you take no other provinces in the New World, so you never form a colonial nation because you only have 3 provinces, but then you have 3 gold mines and Sierra de Potosi, which has 15% goods produced on the area, so this gold mine gets buffed as well, and you know, 3 gold mine right here. You can dev these 3 to the roof, well, to probably around, I would say probably around 10 each, maybe 15 if you're being greedy, and have this province so you can actually core things, and that would be how you get the 100 gold. I was very tempted to replay the save and go for that, but it would have been rather painful, and may have, if I was committing to so much that, I could have failed to get the global trade, which I believe was, given the state of the country we're in, and no disrespect to Lucas Abella, the fact that we do have global trade here is nothing short of a divine miracle. So with that said, though, that is all the time I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, with a special thank you to all my channel members, especially Ark, Solar, W Haste, Solemon, Star72, Lord Zendikar, Nick Fassbender, Nanhatan, Nick Huss, The Awesome Rabbit, Best Pro Gaming, Grabmo Flavia, Kono, Andrew Zalberg, Deki, Sov, Mobkiller, Anthony35, AC Napo, Glorious Leader, Zerkis, Mr. Goomshock, Yukata, Danray, Private Claw, Jack, and Marvy.